Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So, I will screen share the 7th chapter of Nectar of Devotion. Let me just Nectar of devotion can mean different things to different devotees, just like Christmas means different things to different people. And for us, Indian people, we are witnessing the Christmas events and celebrations in the locality here. And yesterday, we went to a church for the Christmas Eve to witness the devotion that they have in welcoming Jesus. Although we know that maybe the intention of Christmas is not, exactly celebrating Jesus' birth for everybody. We kind of know that. But there are still some people, they're literally, for them, the evidence of devotional service can be seen in their devotion towards Jesus. So we can appreciate the fact. Yet, I was actually feeling embarrassed because we come from a culture, our ancestors were devotees. They studied Ramayana, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam. And so they gave us within our genes, within our DNA, they gave us that spirituality to each of us. Now, how much of it are we maintaining? How much of it are really carrying that faith can be seen by when we come to Krishna consciousness. How much are we able to understand the essence of what Srila Prabhupada is teaching us? So I studied this chapter when I was traveling. I was studying this chapter, and as I was studying these principles, I was able to witness the exact opposite of these principles being followed. So regarding devotional principles, right? So there are devotional principles. When we read scriptures, Srila Prabhupada very clearly says, there is no happiness in this material world, right? This is the first devotional principle in this chapter. And Prabhupada says in the 11th canto, that there is please know for certain that in this material world, there is no happiness. Okay? It's simply a mistake to think that there is happiness here, because this place is full of nothing but miserable conditions. The exact principle that we witness in the material world today is run after happiness. If you work hard, if you have money, if you look beautiful, if you get a bigger home or car or a better job, you're going to be happier. And then it's what's the next part here? It is simply a mistake to, early age, go into spiritual life. Don't do that. Don't waste your life. Work hard. Work like a slave to Maya. They will not say Maya, but they will say, in this world, you have to make a place for yourself. But then time and again, we actually only see more and more and more misery, right? So, there is our, those of you who are from South India, we have many of our acharyas, Purandara Dasa, Kanakadasa, Ramadasa, we have Tyagaraja, we have Annamacharya, and they all witnessed the illusory principles that they would watch. Of course, during their time, they didn't watch such devastating principles going completely crazy, going wild, and it wasn't like exactly like that. Not what we're witnessing here in 2020, 24. Okay, we're coming there. It was not that level, but still in their songs, repeatedly, they emphasize one principle that Srila Prabhupada brings up again and again and again. What is that principle? We are not this material body. As simple as that principle seems and sounds, everything, every identification, every feeling, every emotion, we connect that with this identification with who I am. In Kannada, we say, Nanu nannadu emba narakadolage biddu. So this is the essence of the introduction in this chapter. When I falsely identify who I am, I think this is me, this is mine, my children must be in my control, and I must get my social life in order, me and mine, and narakadolage biddu, as Prabhupada says, that is where we fall into the trap of material, miserable conditions. And one more, there is Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa is from Udupi. He was actually a shepherd, right? And he wasn't even qualified, materially speaking, to be a Brahmana or a saint. And they consider, oh, he's just from a lower caste. So he's not even somebody we should even be, forget about following him. We shouldn't even be allowing him inside the temple. And he says, ಸುಖಾಯಂಗಳ ಕಳೆದು 84 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜೀವರಾಶಿಯನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಬಂದ ಈ ಶರೀರ ತಾನಲ್ಲ ತನ್ನದಲ್ಲ ತಾನಲ್ಲ ತನ್ನದಲ್ಲ ಆಸೆ ಖರವಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಾಹುದಲ್ಲ ದಾಸನಾಗು ವಿಶೇಷನಾಗು ಭವಪಾಶನಿಗೂ. This particular paragraph, it summarizes in one sense the whole 7th chapter of this Nectar of Devotion. He basically says, my dear soul, don't think that this is only your lifetime. We look at our lifetime like this is my lifetime, right? This is my body, this is my children, this is my job, this is the country where I live, this is the congregation I belong to, right? Extended sense of self. We identify with that. But Krishna doesn't look at us with one lifetime. For him, it's like these negative photos nowadays. Kids won't even know what is a negative, right? Earlier in our days, in our 70s and 80s, we would get these negative rolls of the pictures, right? So when we look at it, we look at the whole roll. Say a marriage wedding ceremony, and then you look at that thing and you start, oh, that was the first day of the marriage, or you see how the bride is dressed, so you see the whole negatives, like everything in one. So for Krishna, this lifetime is only one snapshot of one picture developed, but there are so many. There were so many previous lives. Asha klesha doshavemba abdiyolu mulugi. So the desires, the samskaras, all these vasanas, all these habits, we've kept it. We kept it, and we don't know why. Why I don't have taste for devotional service? We wonder. We wonder why it's so hard to believe what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Why is it so hard to believe that this place is full of nothing but miserable conditions? We experience it, but we want to forget it, right? So in this song and in this chapter, the principles go like this. I made some notes to see where I want to emphasize the point. So the first point is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this world is temporary and full of misery. And you are not this material body. Kindly, if you can mute yourself, it's easier so that there's no noise, background noise. Thank you. So, first point is, don't look for happiness, look for peace. Okay, look for peace. Second is let's try to figure out the real sense of identity. What is the real source of identity? Jivar Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. It's not servant like we think in this material world, okay? Being the servant of the Lord is the most luxurious, gorgeous, highest position. It's not the bossa, 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 anu bossa. It's dasa, 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 anu dasa. That's like going beyond our false identification and finding true identity and finding peace in that. And the third point is about the spiritual master. Okay, that's the essence of this chapter. So one is like the root of why we can't understand devotional service, and then the process with which, the abhidheya aspect, what do I need to do in order to progress in my life, and then the prayojana aspect. The prayojana aspect is what's the solution? Where do I need to reach? So here, accepting a bona fide spiritual master, I want to discuss what it means to me and what it can mean to us, those of us who have jobs, who have families, who have responsibilities and duties, and what does it do for us? Human beings, we are conditioned to think, what's in it for me? Why do I need to accept a spiritual master? And Prabhupada very, very, very clearly emphasizes this point. Everyone should try to find such a bona fide spiritual master in order to fulfill his mission of life, which is to transfer himself to the plane of spiritual bliss. Prabhupada says, right? Let me stop the share. Prabhupada emphasized on the 4 regulative principles. And we say, don't do this, don't do that, right? That's what we hear. You cannot eat meat. You cannot take drugs and alcohol, and you cannot do any of that. You also should not, what are the 3 principles? No meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So don't gamble, don't enjoy sex life, and don't enjoy meat eating, right? But Srila Prabhupada, focuses the whole principle as regulative principles of freedom. Because if you look around, if you closely look around, not from far, oh, that lady looks so pretty in her makeup and her shoes, not that kind of look around. When I say when we look around, people's hearts, people's lives, people's priorities, people's desires never being fulfilled, looking at that black hole that we all suffer to one extent or another, to some degree or another, there's a black hole. We think, I am not enough. Then we try to keep bettering ourselves. But I was looking at people, right, in the airport. Everybody is trying to be their best. On one level, maybe they dress very nicely, they put on their best clothes. And women, I don't even need to start, right? when women get into looking good, I was looking at some of the women, they really believe they are the body. Really, because that is their self-realization. They have come to a point of realizing that I need to take care of my body, I need to take care of my hair, I need to take care of my skin, I need to take care of branded clothing, I need to look in a certain way. And I came to realize, in Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun realization of looking at the business people, focusing on business. I want to fly in this way. I want to go for this kind of business. I want to look in this way. To women, I want to look in this way. Women, you understand what I mean. 3 levels of understanding. On one level, tamas guna level, you see, we are reading the devotional principles, regulative principles, accepting spiritual masters, very high level, right? Let's face it, at least for me, when I do look around, there are triggers. There are triggers that may I ask myself the question, am I successful? Am I beautiful? Am I well-dressed? There's a trigger that comes up. So I processed it in 3 levels. In tamas guna, my mind said, these people are fools and rascals. They don't know how to prioritize life. Forget about them. They are just nothing, right? There's a tamaguna element there. Why? Because in tamas guna, I want everything nice is not nice. Like a sour grape, there was this jackal. He wanted the grapes. He was jumping up and down. He couldn't get it. So he said that grapes are sour. So there's a tendency to look down upon materialistic people. Why? Because there is tamaguna. I want to devalue somebody so I can feel precious. Because Krishna consciousness is great is not the actual thing in the mind. I'm following Krishna consciousness, so it's great. It's not that my guru is great, Srila Prabhupada is great. No, I chose my guru. I chose Srila Prabhupada, so therefore they are great. I'm sorry, but the conditioned mind is so tricky. The modes of nature are so tricky. We keep falling into that trap. So the materialistic consciousness is not only in living a life, like I said, dolled up body, dolled up, right? Super skin, super makeup, super clothes. But you have to see what's inside that body. Maybe they just ate a cow. They just ate chicken, right? That's kind of what's in the body. But what's in the mind? What's in the mind? What is in the mind is unsatiable, unfulfilled desires. That keeps you can look at the face, right? You can look at the faces of these people. They look sad. They don't have a beautiful mind, and they think, I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. I'm too short. I'm too tall, whatever, right? My skin is too this. We women get the picture of that. Is never enough. So the sense of lack comes from lack of spirituality. When I think I'm not good enough, then I keep filling that black hole. And so every person that emphasizes to make that self-realization about the body, it's literally a proof. Like in our chapter, we are discussing about the name of the chapter is Evidence Regarding Devotional Principles. So we can say evidence regarding the miserable conditions are people emphasize a lot on the body. So we should supposed to feel compassion in Sattva Guna. Tamas Guna, it's true. Prabhupada did say they are fools and rascals. No question about it. It's true. It's a foolish pursuit for happiness. And the Shastra says that there is no happiness there. It's true. But how are we dealing with that truth? How are we dealing with maybe our own families, maybe our own children are not taking up to spiritual life the way we want. Maybe they're going wild, they're going crazy, right? How do we deal with that? So devotional service is beyond just tilak that I wear and the kanti mala and the japa bag and it's beyond that, because faith, spirituality is inherently vulnerable. We all were having a life. We all came from backgrounds of maybe Shiva worship. Our ancestors may have done Durga worshippers, maybe Krishna worshippers. We all come from good lineage. Our parents, our ancestors gave us good DNA of culture. At the same time, how vulnerable are we? If we look at Western devotees, those people who come because of being convinced by Srila Prabhupada's teachings, when they pay obeisances, it takes them a lot to come and pay obeisances. It takes them that sense of vulnerability to admit, my life so far, it doesn't work. The way I'm living, it doesn't work for me. I failed. I failed in my life, and I'm coming to spiritual life. So this is real spiritual life, to accept that I don't know everything. I failed in how I'm living my life, and I'm coming to spiritual life. Why? Like Krishna also, right? Arjuna also, right? When Arjuna, in the beginning, he's so confused. He's completely powerless. And so devotional service is not only about when we are super enthusiastic and we're doing a lot of service and pulling things out of our pocket, pulling dollars out of our pocket and saying, I'm doing it. No, devotional principle is when we get down on our knees and say, I am this servant of my spiritual master. I'm servant of Krishna. I have no power. I am completely vulnerable. That's the beginning of spiritual life. So Prabhupada is emphasizing this in this chapter. And one more thing I wanted to say about, let me highlight that principle and then go to the next point. So this is like our introduction. Then I have just 3 points to share. So Prabhupada, he speaks about the Prabuddha. He's speaking again from the 11th, this is disciples of Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavatam, because after 10th canto, the disciples completed Srimad Bhagavatam. And so this is Bhagavatam where Sage Prabuddha continues to speak to the king. My dear king, a disciple has to accept the spiritual master, not only as spiritual master, but also as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Super Soul. See, this is our culture again. We come from that culture of scriptural understanding that Guru is everything. This is the first point here. Now, I want to see, I have studied astrology, and I want to give you this very beautiful example. During the Bali Maharaj story, Bali Maharaj, Guru Maharaj is Shukracharya, right? And then there is Vamana Dev, and Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods, and Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. Now, in Vedic astrology, Shukra is Venus. So, if you want to know the regulative principles of material life, study Shukracharya, or study under Shukracharya. If you want to understand how to become successful in material enjoyment, Shukra, Venus is the planet, that it gives us a desire, the desires to enjoy, desires to have a taste for sense gratification. And then there is Guru, Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about expansion and spirituality and understanding the essence, like that. And Vedic astrology, Venus and Jupiter are enemies. So if you're thinking, I will enjoy sense gratification also, and I will also have Krishna consciousness, it's like Bali Maharaj listening to Shukracharya also, and and also, giving to Vamana Dev, because I brought up Vamana Dev. Vamana Dev is the lord of Jupiter planet. Every avatar of Krishna rules every planet. Like Shukracharya is Parashuram. Parashuram is the lord of Shukracharya. And Vamana Dev is the lord of Guru, the Jupiter planet. Jupiter planet is the most important planet when it comes to Guru, when it comes to good fortune. I have seen again and again and again, most people who come to me with problems, there's only one solution. You don't even need to come for a reading or go ever to an astrologer if you follow this. Those people who have not served the Guru, who have not done spiritual activities in their previous life, they have a messed up Jupiter, let's call it that way. They don't have that strong sense of luck and faith that things will work out. So usually they come into constant problems. And the only reason in Vedic astrology and the only remedy is we say, serve the Guru, serve the saints, serve the devotees, do devotional service, study scriptures. You want, those of you who are born with maybe not so good Jupiter and luck is not so much in your favor, study scriptures. Every day, literally, you could increase that Jupiter karma, more than just increasing Jupiter karma, because Srimad Bhagavatam gives you everything. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives you even emotional support. You don't need even counseling. Madeka bandhu, mad sangi, mad guru, man mahadhana, man nishtaraka, mad bhagya, mad ananda namostute. By just taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll experience it. Bhagavatam is your best friend. It's the guide. It's your only shelter. No, everybody will leave us. Everybody will betray us. People die. People hurt us. But Srimad Bhagavatam is that boat, is that shelter. No matter how depressed you are, it can uplift you. No matter how happy you are, it can keep you grounded in reality. No matter if you're rich or you're poor, the culture of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's Krishna himself. Because Krishna swadhamo pagate dharma jnanadibhi saha. So when Krishna left, dharma, jnana also left. We can see around, just look around your window and you'll see that dharma and jnana have left. Kalau nashtam drisham mesha. Puranarko adunodita. So because people have lost their vision, they don't know where they're going. They're rushing and pushing. They have no idea where they're going. Right? This is that rat race inside the hamster wheel. They run every day and the schedule and the office and the aimless living. Right? I mean, we see it around. So, only thing you need to do is study the scriptures under the guidance of a spiritual master. You won't have any material problems. And our ancestors were very clever. See, the difference between Jupiter and Venus culture is typical of Western and Eastern culture. In the West, it's about Venus. Enjoy. People are not so much into saving up. You've seen, right? Maybe your American colleagues and counterparts, right? They're not so much into saving up. They're not so much into that. They just want to, right? That's the culture. That's the culture of Venus. You have good karma, think of enjoyment. A lot of people come to me and say, when will my good time come? I'm like, why would you ask, when will I finish my money? Because, there is good karma and bad karma. Some people have more bad karma, more struggles. Some people have more good karma. So why would you ask, when will my money finish? That's like asking, when will my good karma finish? Because every time we're enjoying, every time I'm happy with what's happening with my life, I'm literally finishing off the good karma. It's reducing. Every time I'm struggling, every time things are not going my way, I'm reducing my bad karma. So I often wonder why people are not asking, when will I finish paying my debts? Why people keep asking, when will I finish all the money in my account? So Venus is about intention and focus on finishing off your good karma. Venus is saying, Array, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Don't worry, just enjoy. What Jupiter is doing is saying, no, invest. That's why people who invest, don't spend, they keep the money, they invest in properties, they have a wiser plan, because they're not thinking of enjoying in the moment, they're thinking of saving up. But by the way, even saving up for what in this world, but you need to save up spiritually, the spiritual investment. But to be able to invest spiritually, we need the guidance of the spiritual master. We need the shelter of the spiritual master. Why? Because the spiritual masters have, as here in this chapter, it comes following in the footsteps of the spiritual master. Yeah, there is all these examples about, and see, under the patronage of the Hindu king Maharaj Ashoka, the Buddhist religion was spread all over India and the adjoining countries. So, there is the cultural factors. There are cultural factors of devotional service being, how do you call it, diluted. And in this chapter, it's said that Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna, but we don't exactly worship Buddha because he came to deviate the materialists who are misusing the Vedas. So we don't exactly worship Buddha. Even in astrology, for Buddha planet, for education and all that, although the Lord is Buddha, we recommend Hayagriva. Hayagriva is the deity, because by focusing on Hayagriva, you get the Buddhi, But Buddha, he came to divert. He came to divert people, save people from misusing the Vedic culture. It comes in this chapter. If you like, you can read this chapter. It's very interesting. A lot of historical facts, a lot of philosophy explained in a very practical manner. Why, what. I must share this. I was also sharing with our host. I was a little bit disturbed about how many Indian people here in the East Coast are following certain not authentic gurus. Because you see, Prabhupada, he focuses here, he says here that the qualification of a spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation and arguments and be able to convince others of these conclusions. So there is one particular person that is very popular because of maybe some mystic power or something, Siddhi. The person wants more and more followers, but they're not necessarily, but they're not leading people towards the Lord or service of the Lord or devotional service. It's more a propaganda to self-made gurus, self-made gods category. But people are so naive and so desperate for spiritual energy. I even had one of my fellow travelers family, they were into this thing, and I asked just a basic questions that Prabhupada equips us. Those of you who study Bhagavad Gita regularly, you will know that Prabhupada's teachings are so pakka. If you go to we went to the Balaji temple, we were looking at the what do you call it, translations. If you've read Prabhupada's translations, no other translations will satisfy you, because it's a perfection. It's perfection of the essence of what that verse is trying to say. So many other bogus gurus, they just attract the minds of the people with flowery language. It's only to divert the attention from exactly what this seventh chapter of Nectar of Devotion is speaking. Instead of thinking of pleasing Krishna and pleasing senses of Krishna, Hrishikesha, Hrishikena Sevaya, instead of serving the senses of the Lord, even this so-called spiritual organizations and movement, it's focusing again and again and again on your own, your mind, your this, you that, completely losing the essence. And once, when Prabhupada was here in America, he was suggested by somebody, don't make it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Just, make it International Society for God Consciousness. Make it more, like people can like relate to it, And Prabhupada said, no, it is for Krishna consciousness. There's no indirect thing. Why you need to beat around the bush? So this is our acharyas, very true to very loyal and very true, because they know the secret. Like Bali Maharaj, he knew the secret. Immediately, if he listened to Shukracharya, then he would have not given Bali Maharaj, Vamana Dev, the 3 steps. He would not give. But in fact, when Shukracharya goes inside the Kamandalu, right, to try to stop him from offering the Agya water, and he knows, and he still takes the stick. So sometimes we need to sacrifice, my dear friends. We need to make that little sacrifice, get out of our comfort zones, and be out there, be the instrument in the Lord's hands. That is devotional principle. And one important thing, Jupiter, Vamanadev, he appeared like a small, cute dwarf boy, right? Adorable little dwarf boy. When he appeared, Madhvacharya, he sings so beautifully in Dashavatara about Vamanadev. So, okay, if we have time in the end, I can sing that paragraph for you. It's just mind-blowing. But the principle here is, Vamanadev, he appeared small. Shukracharya big, right? Little boy, dwarf boy, beggar. So that's how your sadhana will appear to you. Small boy, dwarf boy, reading Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow I can, it's okay. Tell the boy whatever, come back tomorrow. That's how your spiritual life will appear to you. Small and tiny, asking you for 3 steps. And how Venus will appear to you, your status maybe, I don't know what is your Venus. Everybody has our own Venus, our own comfort zones. Whatever is our comfort zone. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. Whatever is, for some people, traveling is comfort. For some of us, traveling is austerity. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own austerity there. So Venus will appear big guru, like, hey, you need position in the society, you need to get your kids to do this, all this, whatever materialistic BS, materialistic false notions that it will appear very big. It will appear like even that devotee is doing that, even this devotee is doing that. There'll be a lot of this shimmering, shiny thing, But Vamanadev is diamond. Shukracharya is a shiny, shapy thing. But you have to have association of Bali Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Priyavrata Maharaj, the Prachetas, the Kumaras, Narad Muni, Mahadev. Associate. And how can you associate? We can associate by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, by being with devotees who have a taste for scriptural understanding. Because I promise you, if you do that, if you associate with devotees and focus on the scriptures and keep aside gossiping and comparison and feeling insecure and the whole drama, right? The drama of passion and ignorance, I promise you, you will never have any materialistic problem. And even if you have, you'll have that capacity and the faith to face it gracefully. And your difficulties and the way you win over those, the way you will have victory over those difficulties will be an inspiration to everybody who will see you, everybody who will relate to you. And that is devotional service. And that's what means to be a disciple of your spiritual master. Humility is not about just sit down and do nothing and be nothing or just do menial tasks. Humility means to put yourself out there as a servant of the Lord and facing your own difficulties so people can see Krishna as the controller. It's a very thin line. Humility is, usually we think that to be quiet is humility, but no, it's about exposing where I am, who I am. That's it. Spirituality, vulnerability, and humility. So this is the essence of this chapter. Let me just see. I had a few more points, but I would really like to take questions or comments. So let me just see. Okay, maybe one or two more points, and then we go further. So, I mean, all this I'm summarizing, but I'll show you quickly in the form of the notes here. Like you see, following in the footsteps of saintly people. If we keep associating with mundane television or YouTube or people who have value system which is messed up, we know they're miserable. If we still go after that, it's hard. The lamenting will continue only. So samsiddhir haritoshanam, this is the essence, to be with those who are trying to please Krishna. Don't please the society. Don't even focus on being good husband, good wife, because that's also Maya. It's also me, me, me. I am a good disciple. I am a good wife, right? Focusing on, is Krishna pleased? Even sometimes we look bad, but we try to do the right thing for Krishna. And let's see. If anybody catches, or if you've read this chapter, you can also please unmute or raise your hand and bring up any important points from here. But let me look. Let's see. This is the paragraph where he speaks about Buddha. Then, oh, this one, small point. With our children also, we need to explain why we follow religious principles. Otherwise, they will be waiting to get free and stop going to temple. But if we actually explain the relevance, your connection with the Lord, it's not that the Lord will love you and praise you only if you do A, B, and C. He always loves you. Krishna doesn't have insecurity complex. It's not that if you don't do certain things his way, he's going to reject you. He's got very strong security. He's Partha Sarathi. Although he's Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka, right? He owns everything, all the universes. He's still very, very, he's a Parthasarathi. He's very humble. I mean, not just humble, very secure. He's a secure man. He's not an insecure man. He goes there, he says, I'm going to drive your chariot, Arjuna. And Arjuna kicks him on the right and he turns the chariot to the right. The Arjuna kicks him on the left, and that's how, that's how chariot drivers in battles, there's no way of communicating. There's like so much noise. Stereo is going on. You can't hear each other. So the charioteer, Arjuna in this case, would kick Krishna. If you want to go straight, he would kick in the middle. If he would want, he will kick on the right to turn right. So anyway, it's just a mind-blowing security of a human, any person in any relationship, to go to be of service. Learn from God how to be of service. Okay, next. Being prepared to give up everything material for Krishna's satisfaction. So it's an intention. It's not possible to come to that point overnight or artificially. But we can ask Krishna, I know for lifetimes, Yesu Kayangala Kaladu 84 laksha Jeevarashiyannu dati banda ee sharira. I've gone through 84 lakh species of life, Krishna. Every time I've tried to make it work my way and it has not worked. So this one lifetime, Prabhupada said, give one lifetime. This one lifetime, give it to Krishna. Because we've tried several lifetimes. It's not worked out. So now we have our karma, our conditioning, all that. And then there's amazing points about living in a sacred place, about Jagannath Puri, Purushottama Kshetra. Even the demigods look upon those who live in Jagannath Puri as four-armed forms, very, very special. And your New Jersey temple itself is the dham. So tirti kurvanti tirtani. America is a dham because Srila Prabhupada came here and established. Yesterday we went to those places where Srila Prabhupada has been. That's the dham. We were all teary-eyed hearing Prabhupada's struggles and Prabhupada's determination, Prabhupada's vision. That's the dham. So dham is not a geographical location. It's not like, okay, there's a line here. and then you cross this side. Okay, let me stop this share and show you the map of geographical location of spiritual. It's not like this side is material, and then when you cross one line, you grow this side, and then from New Jersey to New York. And so that's New York, and this is New Jersey. The concept doesn't work like that for spirituality. It's not like a line that separates spiritual material. It's a matter of consciousness. So dham is not a geographical location. I'm here, I put my leg here, it becomes spiritual, and here is material. It's dham is about consciousness. Same thing like you take a what? An apple. Is an apple spiritual or material? Anybody? Unmute and just tell me.
If it's offered to Krishna, and if the consciousness is this apple is offered to Krishna for his enjoyment, it's spiritual. And if I think that it is for my enjoyment, my sense gratification, it's material.
So it's neutral, right? It's neutral.
Yeah.
It's neutral, is there. And then and the knife, is the knife spiritual or material? Or is it good or bad? Is a knife good or bad? A thief can just take that knife and threaten somebody, stab somebody, and the same knife, you can also cut that apple, right? So the apple is apple. Whether it's material or spiritual it's not in the object apple. It's in your consciousness. And what makes apple spiritualized is your process of offering, right? And it's not that there's a line, this part of the apple is spiritual and that part of the apple is material, right? It's the matter of consciousness. So when we offer to Krishna, as Vilas Manjari perfectly explained, when we offer it to Krishna, it gets spiritualized. Same thing. Your home becomes a spiritual abode when you spiritualize it with mantras and chanting and kirtan and inviting Vaishnavas to stay with you and serve them. Then it becomes a dham. So it's not about a geographical location. So that is the point. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, Ganga. Oh, Ganga also. My Guru Maharaj often tells us, if you're not living near Ganges, you just say Ganga, Ganga, Ganga 3 times when you're taking shower. Just form this habit. I'm telling you, in 1 week, you'll feel a difference. You'll feel more purified. Your mind will be more purified. When you're taking shower, just say Ganga, 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 and you imagine that waters are Ganga. So Ganga becomes manifest there. That's that power. That power is there in Ganga. The waters of the Ganges are always carrying the flavor of tulasi offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. And as such, the waters of the Ganges are ever flowing, spreading the glories of Lord Krishna. Wherever the waters of the Ganges are flowing, all will be sanctified, both externally and internally. So please, let's remember that. It's not just external. ಕಾಶಿ ವಾರಾಣಸಿ ಕಂಚಿ ಕಾಳಹಸ್ತಿ ರಾಮೇಶ್ವರ ಯೇಸು ದೇಶ ತಿರುಗಿದರು ಬಾಹೋದೇನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದೇನು. Even 100 dips in the Ganga, Godavari, all the rivers. If our mind is not internally, if we're not cleaning it, there's no point. So there was Purandaradasa once. He had a pot. He was carrying a pot. He was born as Vaishya, but he became a saint. And he was composing songs. So one day he was taking a pot of water and he was about to offer to Tulsi Maharani. So the Brahmanas there, they always envied him. So as he was trying to offer the water, the Brahmanas say, hey, Chi, look at the pot outside, is so dirty, you didn't clean it properly, Chi, very bad. And then Purandaradasa made a whole song about the internal and external shuddhi, the cleanliness. And then he showed the inside of the pot, and inside of the pot was shining. So he said, devotion, the waters inside, it touches your devotion, not your externally how we appear to be. I'm a great devotee, you see, I did this and I did that, and it's not about the externally how shiny we are. Internally, what's going on. That's what matters, because bhakti touches our internal. That's one point. And what was the thing about Ganga? The lotus feet of Krishna. Yeah, by the way, Ganga is also connected with Vamanadev's story, because when Vamanadev took his step, that's when he touched the edge of the surface of, and that surface opened up the Ganga water to flow down to this earth. Ganga Mata, she purifies our consciousness and protects us. And then there are more practical, very practical chapter. This is accepting only what is necessary. Oh, Matajis, please don't get me started on this one. So I won't be able to do justice to this because I'm also how do you say culprit? I'm also a victim of not being able to exactly discern. And see, again, necessary is not only about objects. Sometimes, do I need this emotion? Sometimes we worry about unnecessary things, right? Like Rupa Goswami, he suggests, right, what we should do, what we should not do, the do's and don'ts. Pravritti and nivritti, what is good for me, what is bad for me. So we can't chant good Hare Krishna Maha Mantra if we don't edit your life ruthlessly. So if I don't edit my life ruthlessly, then I give in to emotions that are unnecessary, priorities that are unnecessary. So, and then we sometimes end up committing offenses. Then spiritual life will become difficult. And then there is also about observing fast on Ekadashi, how important that is. I was flying on Ekadashi, and I was reading about this. There's so many beautiful glories of Ekadashi. Every Ekadashi has a meaning. There's this particular Mahatmya of every Ekadashi. And the purpose of Ekadashi is observing fasting on Ekadashi is to minimize the demands of the body and to engage our time in the service of the Lord by chanting or performing similar service. It's not that you sit and watch Netflix and you didn't eat anything except chips. That's not going to give Ekadashi benefit. The point is that we channel the consciousness to think more about Krishna. We shouldn't get lost in rituals. This is our Indian people conditioning. We are conditioned to keep to the rituals. We did that, I did this, and da 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 da. But we need to go beyond. We need to look, what's the purpose and what's my consciousness? For some of us, externals are easy. Waking up, chanting my rounds, doing service is easy. For some of us, internal is easy. But the trick, the art is to balance it. Because if the external is good, people will say, oh, such a nice devotee. If the internal is good, there may be pride. I'm such a nice person. I don't need anybody to tell me that I'm good. But if we can bring that balance of, I am working on myself, I'm humble, but I also need to be of service to others. That's perfect. And then this topic here about banyan tree. There is about tulasi and amalaka tree and banyan tree. We are supposed to offer respects. Doesn't mean that you have to bring a banyan tree in your home. Because in fact, grahastas houses, we don't keep banyan trees. Even bonsais, banyan, we don't keep, because it brings renunciation. It brings us. So what banyan tree does, even this is scientific, okay? Don't think it's just some ritual. Mostly the mentality of villagers is you go, you tie the thing around banyan tree, you pay obeisances, you pour milk, water, and then you ask for some material thing. That's very low class in one sense. But the high class is to understand that banyan tree represents the amazing amounts of detachment that we can gain. Even Mahadev, he meditates under the banyan tree. So is even Ashwatha, right? Ashwatha, and then banyan and also Pipal. Krishna says, I am the Ashwatha among the trees. And so these trees, they represent, they have the powers, they have the spiritual powers to bring us to the right direction, to get rid of illusion of nanu, nannadu, me, mine, false illusions. I have to control this, people have to behave the way I want. All that will be reduced. And they say that if a grihastha keeps that in home, there'll be constant problems in grihastha life, banyan tree. So usually it's in brahmachari ashram or sannyas ashram in traditional times. In Mayapur also we have a banyan tree in brahmachari ashram there. In our community we used to have, and he said, no, we don't want the banyan tree around grihasthas because too much detachment is also a problem. I'm telling you, we can't avoid grihastha duties. Banyan gives you a sense of detachment. So we go often, offer our waters and ask, give me the detachment that is necessary for the progress. Unnecessary, premature detachment can also be irresponsible. Let's put it that way. So, many things. We are so lucky. We come from the perfect culture. We have the culture of taking care of guests and sadhus. We have the culture of accepting the guru. We have everything. It's just that we need to look deeper. We need to look at deeper into our motivations. And what does it mean giving up the company of non-devotees? It means to not learn from them, not to take association, but to give. That is very... One time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was told by his spiritual master to not go to Kolkata. And you know what is the next thing he did? He went to Kolkata. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur going to Kolkata is like you should not associate with non-devotees. And tomorrow you go to work and you work amongst non-devotees. So it's about what consciousness you go there. You don't take their habits. You don't learn their culture. We go there if we can give association, great. Otherwise, we don't take from them. And yeah, some more principles like that. And my favorite one here is about, we can go another hour about it, but I'm going to end with this: not giving pain to any living entity. So there's a lot of points here about vegetarianism, not create cruelty for animals. I mean, world is progressing. A lot of people are becoming vegetarians. So even in New York, there were places with vegan ice creams, and there are places with food which are vegan. People are becoming. Nowadays is very low class to not be vegetarian. So Lord Chaitanya's, with this I end for now. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moment is not copyrighted only by ISKCON. Mahaprabhu's mercy is going to spread. It's spreading everywhere. The yoga groups are taking up. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is being chanted everywhere. It is spreading, and it will spread every town and village. Prithvite ache jati nagar adigram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. So everywhere it's spreading. And somehow or another, sometimes all we need to do is get out of the way, because Mahaprabhu's mercy is there. Sometimes we stand in the way. We stand in the way of what spiritual life is, and what people should do, what people should not do becomes the focus. But if we have a heart that can receive the love of Mahaprabhu, and we have a heart to give that love of Mahaprabhu, you can become the perfect instrument of perfect devotional service. And that's the essence of this chapter of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, of our Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. The mood is to be an instrument in the hands of the Lord, to want the Lord's will to prevail, and to get out of the way, to be, get out of the way of your own progress, your family's progress. Krishna has a plan to have that faith. Study scriptures, build your attachment to scriptures. This is something I'm working on, and I must say it has changed my life tremendously. Instead of depending on people around me, depending on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dig your heels in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam will never leave you, will never betray you, will always be there for you. It's the best friend. So I thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any comments, questions, Krishna Namanand Prabhu, would you like to conclude?
Thank you very much. You can unmute and ask questions if anybody has.
You can also type it in the chat box if you don't want to speak, but please feel free.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat all good Shubha. Mataji, class was very wonderful, Mataji. Nectarine was flowing. I know you were singing in Tamil, so melodious. I wanted you to translate that as well so that we enjoy the nectar, whatever you sang. But that's okay. One question I have, Mataji, not related to the class, but one question on astrology. So, while like 4 years back, I was a materialistic person. So, I was definitely going a lot behind astrology for materialistic reasons. But when we come to Krishna conscious, definitely that is completely stopped. So, in perspective, when you're in Krishna conscious, how do we take astrology, Mataji? How do we, do we need to go to astrology, and for what reasons we have to go when you're in Krishna conscious, Mataji? This is what I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Good question. First, the clear answer is astrology is like this. It feeds you faith like this, and Krishna consciousness is like this. Okay. So if you want indirect support to believe in God, we go to astrology and planets like that. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. See, I have some books that I have got from some of my books that I have written. I can show you. One book I highly recommend is called How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology. And Bimal Gupta Prabhu, I highly recommend that you read that book. So this is the book, How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology. Okay. And this is all the things that a devotee should not do in astrology. And this is a book called Are You Ready for Saturn? Is a spiritual Krishna conscious understanding of don't hate Saturn, how to embrace the lessons. Your sadhana bhakti is your Saturn. If you work on it, it will be your friend. And this is a book about Rahu and Ketu, how in devotional service there's remedy for all planets. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as I write in this book, last chapter, he says, there are only 2 occasions that a devotee needs astrology, because Prabhupada did speak a lot about astrology. It is a Vedic science, but nowadays, people mess up their life with astrology. He said, when a child is born, to understand the nature of the child, or when you get married, to understand the compatibility. That's it. Otherwise, you don't need astrology. So which basically means maximum twice only in your life you're supposed to consult an astrologer. Every other time is unnecessary. So that's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And for those of you who'd like some books, I'm leaving in 2 days. But if you like something, you please message Vilasa Manjari, and I can leave the books here for you, because I have some books that I brought, and I'll be taking it further. So I have like 5 books here. Also, there's this book my husband wrote about Varnashram, also wrong understanding of Varnashram is also similar mood, how to mess up Varnashram, how to not understand Varnashram. So, Prabhu, I can't answer that question obviously in 1 minute. So that's why I wrote these books, to explain how Vedic knowledge can help us. One thing I can say is astrology can help us with anartha nivritti. If you get a child's chart done or something to understand the nature, you don't push him to become an engineer if he's not born for that. He may have a nature of being a pujari, and you may force him to be an engineer, and so on and so forth. So these are the 2 purposes of astrology that can be useful. So you don't waste your time and to mess up the children's life or mess up your marriage by not understanding the karma. By the way, Jupiter, if you strengthen your Jupiter, which means studying scriptures and serving Guru and serving the Vaishnavas and preaching and doing spiritual activities, even the karma with your marriage or children will improve. It's a proven fact. Yeah, I hope that helps.
The last statement really helped. The point you mentioned on Jupiter, reading the scriptures and all that really helped. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
See, usually people are not willing to eat like this. If you give them like this, it's boring. I chant, I read these things, and what is this religious thing? But when you go to an astrologer, essentially they'll only make you feed like this. They'll say, get faith, wear this stone, do this thing. It's all about faith. It's creating faith. And we run around the world instead of following Srila Prabhupada, who gave us in a silver platter, this meal, please be nourished. It's the truth. People, even here, if you get something for free, you think it's not valuable, right? And something is high, the price is very high, then we run after it to go crazy. We like to eat like this. It's just a human mentality. It's just a psychology.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else have questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Beautiful class. I had a question. You mentioned about the last few points actually from your class. It was an amazing class, first of all. So many points were cleared, and I've written so many notes.
Wait.
Sorry.
Please
Hi.
continue.
So Mataji, my question is you mentioned to get out of the way from God's will. So could you like explain a little more about that? Like what any example or anything that you can mention?
Good question. I'm figuring it out myself, but in essence, it means to become like Srila Prabhupada.
Mhm.
Srila Prabhupada became an instrument in the hands of the Lord. He didn't sit there thinking, I'm an old man, my English is not perfect, I don't have money. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't sit there lamenting and thinking, I don't have this, it's not the way I want it to be. He just gave himself in the service of the Lord. He didn't say, if only I had a flight ticket instead of this cargo ship. Okay. So he just
Right.
took the first step towards Krishna. So
Mm.
means we don't wait for perfect situation in our lives to give ourselves in service of the Lord. And we don't say, I'm if only I'm readier, if I'm only better, if I'm only this, that it'll never come. It'll never
Mhm.
come. So getting out of the way means get out of self-will and align to God's will. So Krishna's will is always perfect. See Mahabharata? He brought all the soldiers, all the kings, all people with curses and people with traumas and people with previous life waiting to take revenge to, you know who all I'm talking about. Different powers. Everybody he brought on that battlefield to finish it all up.
Mhm.
Complete perfect psychotherapy of everybody's baggage. So if we only let Krishna take control of our lives, give the reins of your chariot to Krishna, instead of complaining, if only my kid was this, if only I was that, if only my situation was like that and this and that, then I would be a servant of the Lord. We just say everything is exactly as it needs to be right now, and through my imperfections, there is this Japanese artwork. Let me just show you that. It's become one of my favorite. Kintsugi. It's called kintsugi. I'm just showing you a photo. So they have this very expensive artwork. You know what they do? They take these broken pots, okay, and then you see in between they melt gold and they complete that pot. See all this, they make this. It's very expensive art and it's very famous art. So the point is, getting out of the way means to not sit and scrutinize and analyze our brokenness and our imperfectness and all that, but to take that and build yourself with the will of the Lord to become that Kintsugi piece of art with your imperfections, with your imperfect life or relations or whatever it is. The brokenness of ours is where Krishna can dig in that gold and make us into that beautiful shape and that form.
Wow, how beautiful.
Yeah,
So nice, Mataji.
so that's an answer on a personal level. Okay, your own life. Get out of the way. I mean, don't think that my life should be like this, my husband should be like that, my kids should be like that. On a preaching level, what it has meant for me is I shouldn't think that I know what is best for this person. I don't know. Right? I may think this person should do this, and then this is good for their spiritual life. This is the way Krishna consciousness is. This is what Prabhupada wanted. And there is wars, literally. It starts as a snowball fight. Take the snowball and say, Prabhupada said this. And the other person takes another one and say, no, but Prabhupada said that. Right? So it can become a war. It can become a war. And that's because of self-will. Because it's human conditioning. To that me and mine at the beginning of the chapter. A false identity creates, even in spiritual life, even in communal spiritual organization, those anarthas are still there. See, the anarthas are still there. So we tend to think that everybody should have same values as me. We think that if I have a specific good quality, then I think that everybody should have it. If they don't have it, they're not sincere. Or the other way around also. Tamas guna, rajas guna is to judge others, devalue others. And tamas guna is to devalue yourself. I am not good enough. I am so bad. And so you're getting in the way of what Krishna has for you and what Krishna has planned for others. In your own children's case, maybe Krishna has a plan, but we get in the way by no, he has to do that and he has to do this, and we get crazy and we get, you know what I mean, right? Sometimes we get like that. That means whenever it happens, remember, it's because we're struggling to get our will done. So relax, let go, take those same hands, raise your hands high up in the air and say, Nitai go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, may Gaura Ichet, Jayatu Jayatu, may it be as Gauranga wants. Okay, because have that faith that Lord has the best plans, and it's especially applicable for preaching, sharing Krishna consciousness. When we say sharing Krishna consciousness, we need to let the mercy flow. And if you can't let it, don't get in the way. Let it just flow and have faith. Okay, does it make sense? Is it?
Yes, Mataji. So beautifully explained. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. You are right on the class. I think we'll conclude. I need to drop another class. Thank you. We'll wait to hear from you for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you, Mataji, for such a wonderful, beautiful class. Excellent, and there's lots of clarity and lots of questions and doubts. The devotees, Mataji is also going to speak tomorrow, continuing this next chapter. So, I would humbly request everybody please join and take this wonderful opportunity to ask questions to Mataji as well. Mataji, you said you're leaving day after tomorrow?
On the 28th, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your wonderful association and excellent class. Let's chant together. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha padidana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Also thank Mataji saying Haribol 3 times. Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Humble request, please join tomorrow. Thank you so much. Indiraj Sri Bhaktira Samardha Sindhu ki jai.
Jai.
Laruba Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Laruba Nanda Kodi Vaishnava. Gauri Preman. Hari Hari.
Jai. Hari Hari Bo.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.